Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video, and welcome to episode 5 of our F125 Hotlap and Setup series. Yes, we return today for easily one of the most difficult circuits on the F1 calendar. We're here at the Jeddah Corniche. Of course, this place combines high speeds that you would expect to see at Monza and Spa with the tight and twisty nature of the Monaco Grand Prix. Honestly, it's easily just one of the wildest races on the F1 calendar, and trying to extract the maximum out of this venue is no easy feat, even for experienced drivers like myself. Many of you that have watched kind of regular content of mine will know Turn 4 here I absolutely hate. But today, of course, as always, we're going to be going through. I'm going to be telling you guys what you want to be looking for around this circuit, of course, to help you learn no line. Then, of course, I'm going to be providing you with our race-ready setup to get you through a Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Of course, as always, timestamps are linked down below. A massive thank you to everybody for the support on the previous videos in this series. We're trying to hit 15k subs at the moment, so please do make sure you get yourself subscribed if you're finding these useful. And yeah, let's head then into our track guide. The Jeddah, the second longest circuit on the Formula 1 calendar, only behind Spa-Francorchamps, and of course you are met by one of its many flat-out sections as you make your way over the start-finish line there. Of course, you're going to be wide open in 8th gear on the run down towards turn 1. Get the car over to the right-hand side, and obviously you want to be aiming for, you can see these little yellow doors on your way down in towards the first braking zone. I would brake at this one at about 125 metres out, but in qualifying trim you can push it a little bit further. I think on the hot lap I actually broke at about 110 metres out from the apex of turn 1 there. So very late, nice straight line braking in towards the first corner. You want to get the car all the way down into 3rd gear and really try to attack the curb through turn 1. Get the inside wheels over that sausage curb. Turn 2 down into 2nd gear just to try and get the weight through the front end, and then short shift up to 3rd on the exit before you get full throttle down off of the corner there. Bring the car, keep it over on the left-hand side, and then as the circuit opens up, bring it steadily back over to the right. Of course, you can see where that wall kind of juts out. You kind of want to aim to be square before that with the wall. Don't try to open up the corner any more than this. Of course, you're going to be up in 7th gear. Bring it down 3 as you cycle your way in, but be so careful of that wall on the inside. As I mentioned in the intro, the amount of times I've hit that wall in league racing, in career modes, and pretty much everything else is painful at this point there. But 4th gear, through the apex of the corner. Again, in race trim, I'm trying to avoid using the exit curb because it will bottom out the car quite badly and really unsettle it. Short shift back up into 5th as you try and get the power down, and then you are going to be full throttle right the way through these next couple of corners there. Hug the walls through the next couple of turns there. Through this final left-hander even, you can blend out the throttle slightly and then try and get the car wedged over the curbing through here. Again, a small blend of throttle. In race trim, you're actually going to nudge the brake as you make your way through this next one there. So just a little dab of the brake on the way in. Just make sure you get the weight of the car over the front end and then completely flat out through the exit as well. Again, you'll find kind of a line, you'll find references that kind of work for you, because it is, everybody is slightly different through those S's, I find, but that's just what works for me. Like I said, when you've got the car hooked up, it's fantastic. But of course, later on in the stint, when the tyres are wearing off and everything like that, it can be really tricky. Stay just a little way away from the wall. I had a couple of laps that were invalidated for some reason, despite the fact I never hit the wall. And then you want to be braking just as we go past this black box in towards the banking of turn 12. They're 8th gear, on the way in, but bring the car all the way down to 4th. Try to go for a little bit of a late apex, but of course, where the camber will help you on the exit. Get on that throttle nice and early, and you want to be aiming for kind of see where the Aramco and the Saudi Arabian banner boards kind of meet each other there. Make sure the car then is kind of not understeering out wide anymore towards the Tag Heuer signs. Hug the wall on the exit of the corner though, and again, get the inside wheel over the curbing through this section of the lap. Of course, the circuit will arc slowly right and then back towards the left, just as kind of you see the track open up again. You want to be getting on the brakes nice and straight from 7th gear all the way down into 4th. Again, just avoid that wall on the inside. Be really careful. You can allow the car to kind of go over the curbing, but again, sometimes I find it kind of unsteadies it a little bit more. And then again, short shift up to 5th on the exit, and then run the car right up towards the wall there, just to maximise the speed you carry out onto this next flat-out section, of course. Jeddah, all of these curbs around here, you can go fully on them over the white line. It's one of the only tracks I know where the white line is actually behind the curb. So you are allowed to go all the way over the curbing there. The car is still technically within track limits here. The line of least resistance down in towards, again, one of the other horrible corners of the lap. You're going to be in 8th gear on the way in. Again, braking just at that black box. Keep the car square. Try and delay your turn-in, but you want to be down in 6th gear in qualifying trim, 5th gear in race trim there. Again, on the exit, you can either go fully over the curbing and it'll unsteady the car, but you might be a bit quicker. Or, in race trim, I would just try to avoid that curbing as best as you possibly can. Carry the speed on the exit, and again, you've got a little bit of a chance to breathe as you prepare yourself for the final corner of the lap. Consider if the car behind you is getting a really good run, maybe let them by, because obviously you'll get DRS on the run back down in towards turn 1. But 8th gear again, you're going to be doing about 205 miles an hour as you head down in towards this final corner. Get the car straight up, brake at the 100-meter board that you just see there, and bring the car all the way down into 3rd gear. Again, I like to go for quite a late apex, really get the car tucked in on the exit, back up into 4th as the circuit opens up, and then foot to the floor, back towards the start-finish line. And there we go. As you open up the DRS, that is going to be a lap of the Jeddah Corniche. It looks so simple, doesn't it? But this place will catch you out at any possible moment. Just where the speeds are so high, it is so unforgiving. And of course, you have to run a low downforce setup. Otherwise, you're just going to be a sitting duck in a straight line. Let's head back to the garage, though, and we'll talk through the tuning. Well, here we are then, back at base, of course. Some of the setups that people are running on this game, absolutely ridiculous so far, but as I've mentioned, the setup we are running is a little higher downforce, is a little bit kind of more forgiving than what we're seeing from some guys there. So we're just under 2 seconds away from the world record. I reckon I could have got into the 127s, but I don't think the lap would kind of be a realistic measurement for you guys to be trying to chase as well. As you can see, actually slower than GB this time around, who seems to just be my yardstick so far in these videos. 1510 on the wing angle. Again, if you're kind of getting quite confident with the car, you can bring this down to about 13.8. But for learning, for trying to be, you know, consistent, it's so easy to pick up front wing damage here. I would rather have a slightly slower car in a straight line that I know is not going to hit a wall than just trying to trim off every last bit of downforce that I possibly can. So 1510 is what I'm running in the car. 8530 on the diff. Again, people do seem to run more extremes at either end for the on and off throttle, but 8530 I felt was a good balance for me. It also looks after the tyres. Not that this place is the worst in the world for keeping hold of your rubber. Minus 3.3, minus 1.8 for the front and rear camber. 0.03 front toe, 0.12 rear toe. Again, fairly kind of standard stuff inside F125. 3811, 1612, 2249. Ride height here, again, where there aren't too many big curbs, and the ones there are you want to be avoiding, you can afford to run the car a little bit lower, because again, it helps maximize the speed. But again, as always, a very firm front suspension. Actually quite a bit firmer rear suspension than we normally see inside this game, but it just seems to be the quickest way around here. 1612 on your anti-roll bars. Again, both of those are quite firm in comparison to what we get a lot of other circuits, but where Jeddah is very new, it's not very bumpy, which of course allows you to run a bit more aggressively. 54 brake bias, of course that's just my standard with 100% brake pressure. Again, in race trim, I personally would bring this down to 98, but of course if you're still struggling with front locking, 55, 96 might be the way to go for yourself as well there. 26.5 front pressures, 23 rears. Again, where your tyre wear isn't that bad around here, but you actually run slightly less front pressure than we see at a lot of other venues because they can overheat through the S's, but much higher rear tyre temps because that much higher rear tyre pressures because that will help with the temps in a Grand Prix stint as well there. 25 laps for a 50% league race. You're going to be pitting at about lap 12 from the mediums over to the hards. Tyre wear isn't that bad here, but the soft tyres, again, just they provide you with great grip for about 3 or 4 laps, and then you're just in trouble throughout the rest of a stint. But there we are then. Hopefully this one has helped you guys out. Like I said, Jeddah is one of those venues that is easy to learn, difficult to master. The best way, honestly, I can suggest you learn it is just by practice, practice, practice. It takes me a while every time I come back here to try and get into the swing of things. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one, though. Like I said in the intro, if this is helpful for you, please do make sure you hit that like and that sub button, and we'll be back tomorrow ready in Miami. But for now, enjoy an absolutely wild hot lap here from Jeddah Corniche.